welcome. Hit the like button, hit subscribe, hit the bell, share the show. Thanks for listening. This is Joey. Let's get started. Now, today's episode is going to be primarily about illusion and exposure. What happens when you are no longer fooled, right? When you become disillusioned. Disillusioned is oftentimes used as a phrase that means let down, or it's implied that it's something sad. But in reality, to be disillusioned is to be freed, right? Even if what you come to terms with is the fact that you've been faked and fooled the whole time, right? You can be in a relationship and think you got the most wonderful guy or most wonderful girl or whatever in the world. And then you go back and find out that that person had been having an affair on you the whole time or never really cared about you the whole time. And you feel sad because you feel like a dumbass because you had been going 110% in how you felt. But you are now from this point on disillusioned. You're no longer being lied to. What you choose to do with that information from there, that's up to you, right? How you choose to deal with it from there determines how you're going to feel. Some people would feel relieved, right? You can be in a situation with something or someone or a group or an entity and realize that it's not what you thought it was. And now that you have that new reality of what it really is, how do you decide to move on from there? Now, I hear a lot of times black folks ask, why do black folks move the way we move, right? And the short answer to that, like I said before, is desperation and confusion. And a big part of that confusion is to be under the misunderstanding of an illusion. And what that illusion for black people is, that explains why we always vote Democrat. What that illusion is a misunderstanding of the situation. And what I mean by that is this. Black folks have always been under the misunderstanding that the Democratic Party and the Republican Party are two completely separate and very opposed parties, right? One stands for the complete opposite of what the other stands for. The second misunderstanding is that the Democrats are good, is that there's good and evil, right? As a matter of fact, what's the last ditch pitch that the Democrats use to us every election cycle? Vote for the lesser of two evils, right? And no one ever thought, wait a minute, did they just admit they were evil? Right? No one ever asked that question, right? We just got to vote for the lesser of them, right? The third misunderstanding that a lot of black folks fall for is that we are a captured vote, that we can't go vote one way and we have to go vote this way. And not voting this way is automatically a vote for the other way. And so therefore, you only really have one choice. You're a captured vote. The Democrats, the Clintons, have even gone so far as to call us that before. They're a captured vote, and there's nowhere they can go. These misunderstandings lead to black people, black voters, feeling like the only vote we really have is to vote for the Democratic Party for better or for worse, right? And what you end up getting is a group of people who are more loyal to a political party that's not loyal to them than they are to other members of their community and their group. Shout out to Miss Demetra K. I apologize if I mispronounce your name. She's normally on the Feel Smart show. She's normally on the African Diaspora podcast or African Diaspora News Network. And she had a show on her own podcast titled, Are Most Black Women, or Are Some Black Women more loyal to the Democratic Party than they are to the black community. And I thought it was an excellent show. I thought it was an excellent question and a great podcast title. I wish I would have thought of it. But I'd like to up the ante. Because the answer is obviously yes, I would like to ask the question, how many black women? All, most, some, what percentage? How many black women are more loyal to the Democratic Party than they are to the black community? Remember, all this was an illusion. All this was an illusion that black folks thought this was the way to survive. I'm going to say something that's going to sound a little mean, but it needs to be said just so we kind of get the picture. I think oftentimes we as black folks, we try to say things and we try to phrase things and frame things in ways to help us maintain face, help us maintain some dignity in this very undignified position that we find ourselves in. But sometimes if you want to really improve, you have to be just cold-blooded about assessing your situation. Black folks, we are very, very much bottom feeders in this society. We're very much scavengers, right? We eat the scraps of the rest of society. White folks come in, they do their business, they make their deals, they set up this arrangement with the rest of society. Then you got other forms of white people, white women, white gays, white children. Then you got immigrant groups that get to come in here and cut deals with white folks over us, as we've seen with this whole immigrant deal. And then whatever falls to the bottom, the sediment, whatever falls to the bottom, we can come out of our holes and grab and take back to our communities. That's pretty much how life works with black people. You can be in a black neighborhood right next to a white one, and the white neighborhood will get all updated infrastructure, cleaned roads, all the stuff that the city does. It's not like the white citizens are doing that stuff themselves. You're paying about the same taxes, if not higher, and your community won't get shit. You won't get nary a speed bump or a stop sign or a stoplight. And that's because you are a bottom feeder group. I'm not going to say you like I'm not a black person. We are a bottom feeder group. And it's not because we're uneducated or because we're lazy, but that's the way the system needs it to be, because the system, this system of white supremacy that we talk about is really, if you look at it just from an X's and O's standpoint, is just the corrupted reallocation of funds to other groups based on race, right? That's what the real problem is. That's been the problem since Brown v. Board of Education. That's always been the problem. Niggas wasn't fighting to integrate into white schools. Niggas was fighting to make the black schools fairly funded in parity with the white schools. Then you had these boule bootlicks come and change the direction of the argument. Our problem has always been bad black politics. But getting back to the illusions, because an illusion has been painted that our only choice is the Democratic Party, an entire structure has been built by that party to maintain this illusion for black people. And that apparatus, that structure, is the black Negro whisperer class, is the black boule bootlick managerial class, whose job they've taken it upon themselves to be managing the attitudes of black society. Ask yourself, all these Angela Ryes and all these Joy Reids and all these black butt kissers for the Democratic Party, you always see them pressing the black community on behalf of the Democratic Party. Look at all these angry Democrats right now. They're so mad at black folks and mad at black men and mad at black people for not voting Democrat. Have you ever seen them this mad at the Democratic Party for not giving black folks a reason to vote Democrat? You ever seen them this mad at the Democratic Party for doing something dumb? To mess up the easiest vote in their big tent party. Black folks have been the easiest, steadiest, most consistent vote. Damn near don't really ask for too much. And you mess that up. Have you seen any of these black bootlicks get this mad at the party on behalf of the black community? And as I pointed out last episode, these bootlicks aren't completely spineless. They have an ability to stand up to the Democratic Party, but only when it concerns their job, only when it concerns their livelihood. Roland Martin has no problem calling the Democratic Party a bunch of fools, but it'll be because they didn't hire him to be a moderator or hire him to go do something for them, not because of how they're treating the black community. This apparatus has kept this illusion going for the Democratic Party, has kept the wool over the eyes of black people. And now that illusion's been broken. Now you got the black community realizing, wait a minute, that whole illusion about black women being the backbone of the Democratic Party, see, that should have gave you pause as a black woman. That should have gave you pause as a black woman that some political party that you know for a fact does not have good intentions for your community is giving you a silver star good girl badge for how you helped destroy your community on behalf of that party. That should have gave you pause. That's like the KKK giving you a good boy award, right? Like if the Ku Klux Klan was giving black men like, good boy, you out there beating your women, that's a good job, nigger. Like, that's not cause for celebration or to brag on, right? But c'est la vie. But that illusion of you being the backbone of the Democratic Party because you're supposed to be able to get the boys in line, just like slavery, right? That illusion has been shattered now. The Democratic Party sees you're not really the backbone. You can't really corral the men to get in line like they thought. That illusion. See, you're noticing that a lot of these bootlicks, they don't know how to react. They're throwing temper tantrums, like I said. They're throwing tantrums because they don't have anything else. When you don't really have any power over nothing, that's what a temper tantrum is. When you don't have any power or any influence over an outcome that you want to happen, that you really want to happen really bad, but you don't have any power over it, all you can do is cry. All you can do is be Brian McKnight for a minute, have one last little cry, get it out your system, and you got to move on. That's all you can do. And you're seeing right now that the blacks that they put in charge, which is usually black women and black gays, have no power, no sway, and no influence over the black community at large. And not only that, they're out of touch with the black community that they were assigned to manage. You're not even aware of what's been going on as to why those tried and true arguments, hey, this immigration affects black immigrants too. You don't even know why that's not even a good argument no more with the black community. We don't even rock with the black immigrants like that. Hey, they're going to take away all these gay rights. Black folks have seen how the gays think of black people, especially the black gays. Speaking of another illusion that was shattered, there's always been a presumed unity between black folks. Black folks from all across the world, black men and black women, black young and black old, black gay and black straight. There's always been a presumed unity between all black people here in America. And that presumption was yet another illusion that was shattered. Working class black people for 4+ years, really since Obama, keeping it real since Obama. Working class black people, male and female, just regular ass, go to work, go to church ass black people, regular ass, raise your kid ass black people, have seen immigrant blacks getting treated better than regular black Americans been here all our lives. Working class, regular black people have seen all the black folks in Barack Obama's cabinet, or they've been given a little power, or they've been put up for promotion. They're all gay blacks. And they got a lot of vitriol for just regular, everyday black people. They try to act like it's just against the men, against misogyny, but really it's starting to get exposed lately. They don't like the black women too much neither. They don't like the idea of just straight black people. Or as they call us, cisgender, or whatever it is, right? I thought they was the cis, but that's a whole nother story. See, there's been an attempt to run this false flag game on black men and black women. See, because this whole gender war thing came from the Democratic Party. The whole gender war thing came from the Democratic Party. They fomented a lot of that gender shit. And it was through a lot of the black gays. Whenever you see black men and black women fighting online or fighting at all, you look right off camera, look just to your left or just to your right. There's going to be a black gay dude right next to that black woman. It goes so far, I even saw a debate one time where Dr. Umar Johnson was in the debate. And in there speaking on behalf of black women was a big old husky black dude in a dress. And Dr. Umar, I don't think his camera was on or whatever it was, but he didn't notice that's a nigga in a dress. That nigga used to be a defensive lineman. Could have went D1. Big old nigga in a dress and a quick weave. And he's sitting there talking about the pain black men have caused black women. It's like, you're on the wrong team right now, talking the wrong shit. Black folks have been put up with this illusion, and white folks too, that the times have changed and this is the way of the world and this is this election showed you times ain't really changed like they made you think that they changed. LGBTQ people are about 10% of the population and should not be speaking for the other 90. You shouldn't have to be changing it. See, there's a lot of shit. This is what I'm talking about. That big illusion. A lot of black women don't really rock with that gay shit like that. Just full stop. Black people in general, we'll mind our business. Everybody knows, when that auntie in the family, she bring her little special friend around for Thanksgiving. We all know, right? You know what I'm saying? We all, like all of us know, you dress like Cheryl Miller from the WNBA. We all know. We all love auntie. It's all good. We're not going to no pride parade for her though. Right? We're not doing all that. We're not putting on the feather boa and dressing like RuPaul to show support. We're not doing all that weird shit. We love you though. We're not excommunicating you from the family and all that kind of shit. We're not reading Bible verses because Uncle Reggie over there cheating on his wife. Right? If we're going to pick one, we're going to pick another, right? Sin is sin. So we're not really tripping like that. But there's a difference between support and acceptance and wanting to be what you are, right? You go do your thing. I support, I accept you. But yeah, we're not going to the parade. We're not going to the parade. We're not going into the gay clubs with you. We're not getting involved in any of your reindeer games. Live your life. Just don't throw it up in our face all damn day. And that ain't even about just gay shit. That's about literally everything. I don't want to hear about you niggas barbecue recipes. I don't want to hear about your big plans for your business. I don't want to hear your opinions on shit. That's most black people. Most black people, we specialize in minding our business. We don't care. So when you start pouring this shit on extra thick, to the black community to the point to where we get sick and tired of it, that's a good sign you might have gone a little bit too far. That's a good sign you might have gone a little bit too far. And we're speaking about the women specifically. See, the women have to pretend like they're with all this LGBTQ shit and all this trans stuff. Really deep down, the average black woman, she ain't with all that shit. But when you got that role to be the backbone of the Democratic Party, you don't know what you signed up for. You signed up to be the ambassador for all this Democratic shit to the black community. Knowing how unpopular it was. Knowing how unpopular it is with you, black woman. You've been forced to sell shit you really wouldn't buy. You bringing that shit in your home. You want to see how somebody really, really feels about all that stuff? Ask them how they feel if their son was dressed up like Magic Johnson's son. They'd be, ooh, I don't know about all that. If their son was Dwayne Wade's son, right? Nah, I'm good. You'll accept it, but you ain't going to be up in the Target buying the girl Cat and Jack outfits and shit for him. Like, nah, I'm cool. You're not cool with the school trying to damn near recruit people into being gay now. Every time you turn around, they try to find some disingenuous, slick little way to throw some gay. Hey, we're going to have drag queens read the kids. Why don't you just have prisoners read the kids? Why would we do that? Why would you do this? Why? Why can't you as a teacher read to the kids? Is that your damn job? Always trying to introduce some stuff a little too early. You ain't even taught the kids. When I was a young kid, they didn't introduce a class called FLASH, which was called Family, Life, and Sexual Health. It was just about teaching young kids who were going through puberty what was happening with their bodies. About how natural human bodies evolve. Because you're going to instantly be having questions. You're getting hair on your armpits. You're starting to have some grown folk odor and shit like that. Your hygiene needs are changing. Your voice is changing. Yeah, those are natural things that are happening to your body. They weren't having classes in the 5th grade about how to use KY jelly packets and shit like that. That's gay shit. If you're gay, that's cool. But gay is some stuff where you got to do a bunch of extra stuff to make gay happen. Puberty just happens. If nobody taught FLASH classes to 5th graders, puberty would still happen to those 5th graders. And they'd be wondering, what the hell's going on? Why is my voice changing? Why am I getting pimples? You'll have girls starting their periods in 6th, 7th grade. They're going to need to know what's going on with their bodies. But they don't need to know how to go to a special doctor outside the state and go get a sex change. It's very, very obvious that the gay community is using the black community to try to introduce a lot of this shit. And you've reached the breaking point with white folks a long time ago. White folks been called this shit out. But black folks was trying to be tolerant. Black folks was trying to be tolerant because black folks were under the illusion that if they weren't quote unquote tolerant, that they were in the minority. Nobody likes being in the minority. No one likes being on quote unquote the wrong side of history. But see, all that illusion's been broken. You don't even get to say, oh, how come the president that doesn't win the popular vote gets to be the president? Oh, no. He won the popular vote this time. People collectively are no longer for this shit. That's the part that's breaking a lot of Democrats' hearts right now. That's the part that they can't wrap their mind around. Every time somebody says something, wow, I hope you enjoy getting your Donald Trump because now he's about to get rid of all these immigrants. And people are like, yeah, that's what we voted for. I hope you like Donald Trump. Now we're going to lose all this gay shit we fought so hard to get. And people are like, hell yeah. Hell yeah. They just elected the border czar, the new border czar, and this dude looked like a character from Breaking Bad. He looked like a character from damn Breaking Bad. He looked like he don't mess around at all. He looked like a California lie detector test. He looked like a 300-pound white man with a bat. He's coming in. He looked like he's going to be on the front lines with a tank, with a couple of immigrants strapped to the front of it, driving straight to Mexico. This dude's so damn cold. They said, "Sir, are you going to be separating families?" He said, No. We're going to be deporting the families together. We're going to deport the families together. He's going to be driving down to Mexico in a Sherman tank singing Feliz Navidad with people's whole families in the trunk. This is what you get when you push too far and the illusion gets broke. See, black folks are realizing, the black folks that didn't vote Democrat are realizing we're in the vast majority of the country. We're voting with the vast majority of the country. This wasn't some tight 50-50 split and, we got a couple of thousand votes. No, this was like 75-25 of the country said we're tired of this shit. I'm going to tell you what it reminds me of. I should have led with this. I was working at this job when I was a teenager. And one day, I don't know why, everybody decided to start sharing their checks. You know, your pay rate is something people normally don't share because it's something embarrassing, right? And people started sharing their checks. I didn't care. I was a young kid. I didn't know what was making good money or bad money. But when everybody started sharing their checks, people started getting information and go, wait a minute, you've been here 10 years. I've been here 4 years. Why am I making more than you? Oh, why do we have the same job role and you only work the weekends, but we make about the same rate? Everybody started comparing their checks and trying to figure out why the amounts were so off from each other. And management saw that. About a month after that, everybody got a raise. And that was to keep everybody's mind off of realizing that they had discovered some shit. The black folks making this daring move to not vote Democrat is like venturing beyond the woods and realizing that you live in modern times. What you thought it was isn't at all what you thought it was. This is something else. And now that this illusion's been broken, you're going to be faced with a couple of realities. Number one, the Democratic Party is not good white mommy and white daddy, like you thought this whole time. Like I said earlier about the first illusion, the Democratic Party and the Republican Party are two corporations, really one big corporation, that act as two opposing forces for the sake of drumming up money and giving people the illusion like they have some sort of a choice. It's the same foreign policy. It's the same military. It's the same corporations running the whole show. Number two, the Democratic Party is not your friend and never has been. And you were never stuck, and you were never a captured vote. You were actually the most powerful vote the entire time. And now you got black folks realizing that. Now you have black folks realizing we should get something for our vote, because this is what could happen if we don't vote. Like I said before, blaming black men or blaming black people for not voting for your weak ass Democratic Party and saying we caused Trump is saying that we're powerful enough to cause Trump. You just admitted we have all the power. And now that we're in exposure phase, we're seeing a lot of different things. It's always so interesting to me, whether it's a relationship, whether it's your time at an apartment complex. You know, it's funny. When I was younger, I used to have an apartment. You know, I'd have an apartment every now and then. It was always funny how no matter how much work I put into an apartment, I remember my first apartment, I was up there fixing the walls. I would, I wouldn't wait for the maintenance people. You know, you're having some little girlfriend over or something. If you know how to fix something yourself, why have that wall be messed up or have that thing leaking when you can go tighten that pipe up yourself. You can go fix this. You can go rewire that. Call the maintenance people later. I come from a fix-it-yourself family, so it was like, it's really nothing to do all that stuff. I'm up there fixing things myself, making things look better, improving stuff. And when you leave that apartment complex, none of that shit matters. None of the memories you put up matter. None of the stuff you did, it's not yours. It was just your turn, right? It was just your turn. Second they leased it out to somebody else, there's a whole new person coming in there to set up shop. You could have lived in that apartment complex for 5 years. The second you don't pay that bill one time, your ass is evicted. You're gone. It's like you were never there. You don't own that shit. And you got black folks realizing that. It's not our party. We don't have a party. We're black people. You shouldn't even be walking around calling yourself Democrats or Republicans. You are Negroes, and they know it. But my point of saying that is, look at how quickly a long-standing illusion, when it finally falls, look at how quickly everything deflates. You've been hearing how CNN and MSNBC, democracy's on the line. We have the entire Marvel 616 universe is on the line, and Trumpos has all 5 Infinity Gauntlet rings, and he's going to destroy half of the whole entire universe. And the second he wins, you realize that they were just fighting for their own existence. Look at how quickly MSNBC and CNN is about to start laying off all these workers and all these TV shows. And I told you, they're all going to lose their job. It's already started. There's already big layoffs. These are just businesses. MSNBC as a company ain't even really left-leaning like that. They used to be a right-wing channel. They go with where the money is because they make their money through advertisement. And look at all these followers, all these viewers, all these subscribers, money, that all of a sudden stopped watching MSNBC, stopped watching CNN. Hell, even a lot of major Democratic podcasters on YouTube losing tens of thousands of subscribers overnight. The whole illusion is being deflated right now before your very eyes. So let's tally this one up real quick, black women. The Democratic Party, the big tent party, is usually comprised of whites, white women, white gays, immigrants, and black people, or people of color, right? Mainly led by the black people. And it was your job to lead the black people wing. You got placed in charge of black people by white people. The immigrants are about to get shipped up out of here. Like sent packing real quick. The gays, the white gays, vote white when there's not a gay issue. Let's just keep it real. And like I said, the white gays, all the gays combined are only about 10% of the whole population here in America. Not that powerful. And they tend to split off and vote Democrat or Republican when non-gay issues come up. They're just white people. The white women vote with their white husbands and for their own white interest. White women were totally cool with all the gay stuff going on until it got to their bathrooms and their women's sports. Till it got to their womb, right? Now all of a sudden it wasn't funny no more. Same with the immigrants. White women was all for immigration until them immigrants started getting dropped off in Martha's Vineyard. And they said, wait a minute now, take that to the rack. Take them to the O, all right? We don't want to bring them over here. White folks are very good at playing not in my backyard. And the Republicans put that shit squarely in their backyard. Genius move by the Republicans. So the immigrants are gone. The gays are gone. The white women are gone. And you couldn't do your one job of controlling the rest of the black community. So where does that leave you, black woman? Where does that leave you? You're the only woman that voted for the Democrats. The Mexicans, the Arab women, you knew good and hell well the Arab women wasn't finna get out of line. Ain't nobody trying to get stoned out here. The Asian women, especially the white women, nobody rode with you. You was just out there by yourself. Let them pump you up. Where does that leave you? Tell you exactly where it leaves you, black women. Leaves you right back down here with black men. Look at you. Look at you. You thought you was going to be a person of color. You thought you was going to be an oppressed minority group. You thought you were going to be a marginalized group, but you wasn't going to have to be no nigga. Look at you. Talking about some damn gender war. Black men never started a gender war. That would be stupid. We're already outnumbered. Black men never started a gender war. Gender war came from the Democratic Party and black women when the Democratic Party started patting black women on the head and saying, you did good. You brought in good money off that blade. You did good. But you black men, y'all coming up short. Despite the fact that black women was voting at 97% and black men was voting at 92%. You was really coming up beefing with black men over 5%. You let white folks put a battery in your back and get in your head and go against your own nigga because they said you did a good job. Black men didn't start no gender war. You let Democrats put a battery in your back about a damn gender war. Come to find out, whole time, white women wasn't even fighting with you on no gender war. They was just playing you, as they've always played you. Historically, white women have always played, white women have always played black women. Difference is, people like Ida B. Wells saw the BS coming and called it out. That's why white feminism has multiple waves. There's first wave feminism and second wave feminism, and then now we're in third wave feminism. That's because the first two got exposed. They didn't start having no success tricking black women to go up against black men until like the late 60s, early 70s with Gloria Steinem and shit. They've tried this multiple times, and it's always failed because black women were usually always 10 toes down, do bottom, stand up women. This is the first generation where they started to finally get a crack. You blew it.
And it should be obvious, but I'll state the obvious. I'm clearly not talking about all black women, but there's been a very, very loud minority of black women that black women's society has allowed to speak and take the helm. It's been a very, very septum ringy, I'm a backup dancer for Beyonce kind of energy that's been coming off from the black female political crowd. And nobody's checked that shit, right? Well, I take that back. This is checking that shit. Because you notice, has been my overall theme, how quickly once something gets exposed, everything falls into place. You notice that not only has the influence of a lot of these different factors been exposed as not being as influential as we previously thought. Old media, because this election was the death knell of old media. Look how many people are tuning out because they realize I can't look at old media as a reliable source anymore. This is the second election in 3 elections that they've totally gotten wrong. And it's clearly not, you're either lying or you're stupid when it comes to information, right? But with regards to this special contingency of black sister girl black women in politics, it's being exposed right now that not only are you not the backbone of the black voting community, you're not even the backbone of black women. You see how hard they're struggling to get a 4B movement, which is like a sex ban or whatever they're trying to call on for black women to do. And you see regular black women now, you're finally seeing that schism. You're seeing regular black women online going, hold up, bitch, I ain't doing all that. I show up and vote, but I ain't leaving my husband, right? You got a lot of black women that are going, hold on now, I'm not doing all this. And it's getting exposed that these black women do not have sway over the black female community like they tell white folks that they do. I'm about to show you guys in a minute. The white political donors that donate to the Democratic Party, they want to know what's up. This election was a total failure. This wasn't just that you lost the election, you lost the party. You lost voters for election cycles to come. You turned a lot of people off. You ran a horrible campaign. And you're in debt. Kamala Harris is like, spent like $1 billion on this campaign and lost that bad. You lost that much of the country and the popular vote. So you're seeing a lot of appropriate blame be passed around. But the one thing that you're seeing that I'm going to show you guys in the next episodes, you're going to see a lot of the coon class and the consultant class that brought you this election, that brought you this strategy, that brought you this marketing, this approach, that failed miserably, have to explain to the donor class. That's the billionaires that really run the country. How did you fail getting this charade over on the people? This normally always works. How did you fail? And just like everything else I've told you about exposure today, you're going to see how quickly these people, now that it's been exposed that they don't got the sway like you thought, you're going to see how quickly they get replaced and erased and removed by the donor class, by the big dogs that really run it. The end was coming for them. That's what they've really been afraid of all this time. That's why you got, Bojangles Jim Clyburn talking about now's not the time to point fingers. See, he was the one putting his chest out, telling you that he was the one to elect Biden and get Biden through with the black vote in 2020 when it all pulled off. Now that it all went bad, now he's talking about let's not point no fingers. Oh, them fingers is pointed squarely at your black ass. Because the white folks are wondering why you failed with the black vote. Mind your tone, fiddler.